Hi class, welcome to lesson 7-6, estimating sums and differences of mixed numbers. Your I can statement for today is I can estimate the sums and differences of fractions in mixed numbers. Go ahead and take a second to write down your lesson title and your I can statement. If you need to pause the video to do that, please do so, and then go ahead and hit play when you are ready to go. We have one vocabulary word today. It is mixed number. And there is an example for you to write down as well. That example is 1 2/3. You will notice mixed numbers look a little bit different than the normal fractions we've been working with because it has that whole number attached to it. So we have the fractional piece and then we have the whole number that is always going to be on the left side of your fraction. That is what we call a mixed number. So please make sure that you write that down and that you're writing down the example underneath of it. Go ahead and hit play when you have that wrote down and you are ready to go. All right, here's our solve and share problem for today. It says Alex has 5 cups of strawberries. He wants to use 1 3/4 cups of strawberries for fruit salad and 3.5 cups for jam. Does Alex have enough strawberries to make both recipes? Solve this problem any way that you choose. Okay, so when I look at this problem, some things I know that I need to circle are he has 5 cups. That's how much we know that Alex has. Okay, but he wants to use 1 3/4 cup of strawberries for a fruit salad and 3.5 cups for jam. So what we need to know is, this is our guiding question here. Does Alex, have enough strawberries to make both recipes? So we don't necessarily need to find the exact number of that he has. We know that he has 5. We don't need to find the exact amount, but we do need to estimate and say, okay, if we estimate 1 3/4, we estimate 3.5. Is he going to have enough? Is that going to be bigger or smaller than 5? Is he going to have more or less than he needs to make the fruit salad and the jam? So that's what we're trying to figure out. So first we have to think to ourselves, okay, is this going to be an addition problem or is this going to be a subtraction problem? What I'm thinking is that we need to add the 1 3/4 and the 3.5 together to see if combined, if that's going to be greater than or if it's going to be less than 5. Because we know that Alex has 5 cups of strawberries. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 1 3/4. Okay. So 1 3/4, remember we're just estimating. So I'm going to think to myself, 1 3/4. So that's like having one whole candy bar. So I have one whole candy bar here. Shade this in, representing one whole. And then I have 3/4. 3 out of 4 pieces of another candy bar. So if I broke this into 4 pieces, I would have 3 of those 4 pieces. So if we're rounding to whole numbers here, I'm thinking, is that going to be closer to 1 or is that going to be closer to 2? If I have 1 whole and 3 out of 4 pieces, that's going to be about 2. About 2. So I'm going to round this to 2. Okay. Now I have 3.5. Okay. So I have 3 whole candy bars because my whole number on the outside here is 3. So I have 3 whole candy bars. 1, 2, 3. shade this last one in. And then on my fourth one, I have 1 out of 2 pieces. I have half of another one. Okay. All right, so if I wanted to, I could leave this as 3.5. Or if you wanted to round, since it's half and you wanted to round up to 4, you could also do that. But we want to make sure that we're being as accurate as we possibly can. Okay, and we already rounded the 1 3/4 up. So we don't want to overestimate and say that Alex would have enough if he doesn't. So I'm going to leave this as 3.5. Okay. All right. So now I have estimated to 2, and then I estimated, and I kind of left that at 3.5. So I need to add these two things together. Okay. So I have 3.5 and I have 2. So that's going to give me about 5.5 cups. Okay, it's going to take about 5.5 cups of strawberries to be able to make both of these recipes. And we know that Alex only has 5 cups. Okay, so I do not think that Alex is going to have enough strawberries to be able to make both of these recipes. Okay. If I would have rounded this down, that would have been 3 plus 2, which would have been 5, which would have made me think maybe he had enough. But that 1/2 is really important because he might not have that half a cup that he would need to be able to make that second recipe. So it's really, really important that we are including that half whenever we're solving for this problem. Okay, so before we look at some student examples, I want you to write down the secret word for this video, and that is the word cookie. So take a second and write the word cookie at the top of your paper because that is our secret word for this video. Okay, all right, let's look at some student examples. Okay, this is Lainey's work. So how does Lainey estimate the sum? So she said 1 3/4 plus 3.5 equals 2 plus 3.5. So she did what Mrs. Severn did. She said that equals about 5. So Alex does not have enough strawberries. So she did exactly what I did. She took 1 3/4. She estimated it to 2. She took 3.5. She estimated that. And she just left it at 3.5 and added to get about 5. I said 5.5. She said about 5. So she did exactly what I did. She said Alex does not have enough strawberries. Okay, let's look at Gabrielle's work. Gabrielle said 1 plus 3 equals 4. And she said 3/4 plus 1/2 is, greater than 1. She said, so 1 3/4 plus 3.5 is greater than 5. So he does not have enough. So I think we can all agree that Alex does not have enough strawberries to make this recipe. Okay. All right. So what I would like you to do now is go ahead and summarize your thinking, summarize your work. Be ready to share your summaries in class tomorrow. Also, make sure that your secret word is at the top of your paper and have that ready to go and share in class tomorrow. Please make sure that you are writing a good quality summary so that you have that to share with your classmates so we can start our math block with some good summarizing, good thinking of how you solved this problem.